This episode is a viewer request about vanishing bees. Thank you, John Schumacher, M6Z. All over the world, bees are disappearing, and with them, the heartbeat of our planet is fading. Official reports say parasitic mites are to blame, while others whisper about invisible waves from technology like 5G. But what if the truth is far stranger and far more dangerous? In this viewer request, we're going to pull back the veil and uncover what's really causing the decline in bee populations, asking the questions no one else dares to ask. Could there be hidden forces at play, connecting the smallest creatures to the largest powers on Earth? Let's find out. Hello everybody, welcome back, or welcome if this is your first time on my channel. We're going to hop right in here with this Vanishing Bees viewer request, starting with Oracle and moving into Tarot for more detail. So question 1, what is the core cause behind the current bee population decline? So what is the core cause? And if it's a little bit sloppier today, I do have another 108 cards in this, all 4 of my piles here. Okay, so we have transformation, which can also be another word for death, I guess, but in this case we see a chrysalis, so something is definitely changing. Something is absolutely changing in the population. Perhaps, like with the chrysalis, maybe the butterfly is not emerging. In this case, the bees. And yes, I know bees are not done in chrysalis, but same premise. All right, let's see what else we have here. The 7th sign. The 7th sign, in the movie, the main character played by Demi Moore believes that her child is in danger, because the end is coming. And so I'm going to say that something is definitely changing with the bees, as to, could be they're not being born properly. Something is changing. And it can be, or could be, a sign that the end is coming. The end of what? The end of the bees? The end of the world? The end? We don't know. We have Bridge to Terabithia. Yeah, there's a lot of speculation out there, a lot of imagination going on, for sure, as to what this is all about. So we're going to pull another card here and see if we get a little bit more info going on. Night they drove old Dixie down. So I feel like we're going to be mourning the loss of these bees eventually here. And I don't know about you, and I'm probably dating myself here, but I remember as a kid, you had to be careful walking through the grass barefooted, because there were honeybees on pretty much every little carnation, every little dandelion, and if you stepped on them, obviously they were going to sting you. It was something, I mean, they were everywhere. Now, I don't think in a field of carnations or dandelions that I've seen more than 1 or 2, if that. They're not here. So I feel like this is saying there's a definite transformation that is and has been happening to the bees. And again, I almost think it's biblical in a way that it's meant to happen. I mean, if you're looking at things from a biblical standpoint, or which is kind of where this movie stems from. But it's a sign that whatever this is with the bees was meant to happen, meant to take place, and that it's telling us or warning us that the end is coming. And whether this means the end of the world, the end of us, the end of the bees only, we don't know. But there's a lot of speculation going on with this bee vanishing. Nobody really knows. But I feel like we're going to be mourning the loss of these bees. But once that happens, I think, or I should say when and if the bees are all gone, this is going to be a test of our human strength for sure. The Sixth Sense, Gilda, 7 days leave. I really think instinctively we all have an idea about what is happening. A sixth sense. I think we all do. For those who even pay attention to the fact that, hey, bees are vanishing. Some people don't notice at all. But for those who are really noticing, it's a sixth sense. We kind of have some idea as to what's happening, because this situation is very, very unique. Very unique. I don't believe there's anything in history that I've heard about anyway that has watched something like bees disappear. Dinosaurs, yes. Bees, no. I don't think dinosaurs actually changed the world, so to speak. Bees are different. And yes, with 7 days leave, it's telling us that this is very unusual, very, very different. So let us pull the tarot and see what more detail that we can get here. These are larger cards, but they feature honeybees. So I thought good cards to use. So they will cover the oracles that I have down here. All right, so let's see what more we have. Now, it's not telling us what the core cause is behind this, unless you want to look at the seventh sign and say, well, this is destined kind of thing. All right, we have the Prince of Pentacles, or the Knight of Pentacles with transformation. This is always my life quest card. What we're searching for in life, our purpose kind of thing. So again, in thinking of the seventh sign, this is the active sign that something's changing in life. There's a transformation in the life of the bees. Something's changing in the life of the bees, and it is happening now. Then we have the Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, this was something that was put into play long ago. And so in other words, the seed was planted to have something happen. And it's taken a long time, but it is happening now. Prince of Cups, or Prince of Jars, as they have on here. Can you even see that? Okay, so Prince of Jars, or Knight of Cups. As I said, there's a lot of imagination out there as to what's going on. For those who even notice that there's an issue, or who maybe have heard something. But there is a definite active correlation between bees and people. Our relationship, there is a connection there. And that connection is far more important than our imaginations will allow us to see, I guess. 8 of Swords. Things definitely look bad. They really do. Things look bad. And I think, again, we're going to be mourning the loss of, whether it be all the bees or many of the bees, we're going to be mourning that loss. And it's going to take some human strength because of the connection we actually have. It's going to change something within the world, within our lives, that we don't even know what the repercussions are going to be. The Keeper, which is the Fool, and the Sixth Sense. Yeah, the feeling, I think, for some people that is coming from this bee situation is so new. And we're all a little bit naive as to what it's going to mean, what it means as the bee population disappears. We just know that they're connected to us in a big way. The Hermit with Gilda. There's people that are maybe the ones who are having that sixth sense. There are people who are studying this because it is such a unique situation. They're trying to shed some light on what is happening. Why is it happening? Where's it going to lead us? How do we stop it? There's so many questions, and there's a good number of people, I'm sure, that are studying to try and figure out what is going on for sure. And with the Princess of Jars or Page of Cups, since this is all unusual, all different, it's going to take a little bit of time, intuition perhaps, to understand what is happening. It's so new. It's so, for those people who are just coming into the know, maybe through this reading, it's going to be a new emotion, really not knowing what to think, except for knowing that this is a very strange situation that probably shouldn't be happening, but seems to be destined somehow. So let us pick up the cards and move on to question 2. This is going to be kind of a long reading. There was a lot of things to ask about this situation. And with this one, again, it really didn't share with us what the core cause is behind it, but it's something that was planted a long time ago. Planted by whom, we can only guess. But usually when there is a situation like this, it is based on the privileged. We'll put it that way. Something the privileged have done, allegedly. All right, so question 2. How true or accurate is the government or official explanation about parasitic mites? There's those who are saying in the government, or the government is saying, that they believe parasitic mites are the cause of this depopulation of the honeybees. So how true or accurate is that explanation? Ghostbusters. I'm going to pull another card on that one. They're here to save the world, it says. But sometimes we can't take these cards at face value, or just by title. and then take a look at the movie or something like that. Sometimes you actually have to take a look at what is on the card itself. Then we have the 39 steps. So on this card, as you can see, they've got the main characters of Ghostbusters with their ghost meters on their backs and their hoses. It looks like they're getting ready to suck the ghosts into the boxes on their backs. Now, this is also the garb of perhaps similar to a beekeeper. Also similar to someone who is out spraying pesticides of some sort. So we're talking about the parasitic mites. I'm almost thinking that if the parasitic mites are the thing, somebody brought them in and sprayed them, releasing them. Yeah, I'm going to say that. I'm going to say I think somebody sprayed. Brought them in, sprayed them everywhere, knowing full well how it would affect, or at least believing they knew how it was going to affect whatever it is they wanted to affect. Was it the bees? We don't know that. Now, the 39 Steps movie is about spy rings and murder. So if we look at it from that standpoint, how true or accurate is the government or the official explanation about parasitic mites? I'm going to say they were released, sprayed out into the air, these mites, whatever they are, with the intent of eliminating some other insect. Whether it was the bees, we don't know. Then we have Dances with Wolves. The communication, or what we were told, is that it was for a good cause. These mites, these parasitic mites, were being released for a good cause. Always a good cause. That's what is always communicated to us, is that it's for a good cause, when in fact it really isn't. Ends up being very damaging when the natural way of things is disrupted. Radio. On top of that, it is possible that these mites have a strange frequency, some kind of sound that affects the honeybees. Rain of Fire. Dr. X. Spirit in the Sky. Yeah, I feel as though the mites themselves, I don't know if they would eat the honeybees, but from what I'm seeing here is they were released to take care of or unalive some other insect or some other something. Could be human, could be animal. We were told this was a good thing. Nothing bad was going to happen by releasing these parasites. And for all we know, these parasites were grown in a lab. At any rate, they have a frequency, some kind of sound that they let off. And it destroys things. And there's no amount of things that have been tried, or maybe nothing's been tried, but there's no I'm going to say, antidote for these parasites. No antidote, no way to kill them. They have no idea how to get rid of them now that they're out there. So the only path for these honeybees at this rate, even if the honeybees weren't necessarily the focus, their path is death. Spirit in the sky. So let us see what tarot has to add to this. Sure seems a kind of doom and gloom kind of thing, doesn't it? So I'm going to say that it is probably true, or at least partially true, that these parasites, the government allegedly knows this because they released them. So we have the Nine of Wands. Yeah, it's almost as though now, since they did that releasing, that they're sitting back going, what did we do? What did we do? This, and that's why I say I'm not really sure it was the honeybees that they were after when these were released into the world. But yeah, now they're like realizing that they've kind of screwed up. Yeah, because again, like we saw in question 1, here's the Prince of Jars or Knight of Cups. We are very connected to these bees. And it is an active connection. There's something between us that is connecting. And they're being non-alived. Sorry for the word, you know. I said the other one a couple times, so. All right, so then we have Strength. When people started noticing that the bees were vanishing, questions were had. And of course, you know, they were telling us that everything's going to be fine. Oh, the bees, they're strong. They'll come back. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. But as the years go on, more and more bee populations, honeybee populations are declining. I think it's like 71% now or something like that. Okay, and then we have the Nine of Swords. Yeah, whatever frequency these bugs, these parasites put off, it definitely is grating on the nerves or something of these bees, these honeybees. It's not a good situation. The Moon, where it is kind of a full-on attack of these honeybees. It's kind of a full-on attack, but because we can't see what's happening other than the bees disappearing, we can't see the frequency of these mites or anything like that. So we're not getting the whole picture. We only get half pictures here with the Moon card. Only half. It's almost an illusion because we really don't feel like we know, or we really can't see the truth of it. We can't, because you can't really see frequency. Three of Wands. We need a new plan. We need a plan of some sort. Somebody's got to get their imaginations rolling and get a new plan, because so far nothing's going to change what's happening. Nothing. And I think they've tried to some degree. In fact, I think I actually saw that they were trying to replace the queen with like a mechanical kind of queen for some hives when the queen would die. But it's not working. It's not natural. It's not working. So then we have the Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, this is something, the path that we're going down is we're going to lose all the bees. So something has to be worked on and needs to keep being worked on until it's mastered. The solution is mastered as to how we can eliminate these parasitic mites, or at least if they're allowed to remain living, that something can change in their frequency that is affecting these bees. So again, how true or accurate is the official explanation that it's parasitic mites? Probably pretty true. But again, I'm not sure that these mites were released specifically to eliminate the honeybees. That's just, I don't think they were. I think it was for another cause, another creature, or whatever that was, and it's just affecting the honeybees. That's what seems to be the most noticeable. All right, so getting clean up here. Moving on to question 3. This is going to probably be a longer reading because it is 10 questions. So question 3, what truth or misinformation lies behind the claims about 5G involvement? So question 1 gave the indication that this is kind of universally planned. In other words, it's a sign, it's the 7th sign. But again, nothing is ever written in stone. And with question 2, we know that there's mites whose frequency is affecting the bees. So what about 5G? Does that have is there any truth to that claim? We have spring. Okay, I'm going to pull another card here to see where spring is going. Lessons. What I get from spring is it may be talking about, well, obviously in the spring birth happens, or flowers bloom and things are born. Now, I don't know what the cycle of a bee is. If they only, is it hatching? If they only hatch in the spring, or, yeah, I don't know anything about the bees themselves. But I feel like this is saying that something is affecting the new life of the bees. And this is something we're going to have to definitely study, this 5G involvement. The Princess Bride. Now, I think it is being studied by many different people, many different countries, because it is happening all over the world. The bee depopulation is happening all over the world, and 5G is pretty much all over the world. I've never been to me. This is an experience that it's never happened before. Not with the bees. I have no idea when bees came into existence. I have no idea on that, but this is something that has never happened before. And some people are looking at it as that it's not a big deal. They'll pop back, is their thinking. Lost in space, Stargate, out of the past. But if this keeps going the way that it's going, I feel like we're going to have to find another place to live. Is how it seems with Lost in Space. And of course, we're not that far in the space program, so to speak, no matter what we're being told, allegedly. But both of these cards are saying we need to find a different place to be. And this is Stargate. They go through the eye or the Stargate to different worlds. We're going to have to find another place to live. And it might be such a thing as time travel will be required because they need to find out what exactly happened and try to change the past. Bring back the honeybees. And this is taking a turn, isn't it? So again, if we look at frequency in the last question, not only the parasitic mites, and that frequency might have been in pre-answer to this question where the 5G is putting off a frequency that is making, frequency was in this position, making the bees not recognize something, maybe screwing with their migrations, maybe screwing with something that makes them, if you can see her on this card, I've never been to me, it's like she doesn't even recognize herself. So perhaps the frequency, we had the parasitic mites, but we also had the frequency maybe in the last, maybe it's not frequency from the mites. Maybe it is. Maybe it's both the mites and the 5G. But it needs to be studied. Let's see if we can narrow this down a little bit more. Whoa, okay. Narrow this down a little bit more for seeing what's what with the frequencies. And, it is telling us that the 5G is affecting them, just as the parasites are affecting them. Oh, needs to flip. All right. The star. The star is about navigation too. Not just hope, and it is about navigation. So it's causing issues with birth, but also navigation with new life. Maybe the new little bees are having a hard time navigating or dealing with the 5G. 9 of Wands. Yeah, we need to figure it out. We need to determine what is it that is destroying or causing this kind of a problem with the bees. It needs to be studied, and studied hard and fast. 10 of Wands. It is the burden of pretty much everybody on the planet. It really is. But obviously it's going to be only certain people who are going to take on that responsibility. But there's people from every walk of life searching into this. Queen of Wands. We can kind of look at this as this Queen of Wands is the main energy of the hive, or I'm going to say the queen bee is the main energy of the hive. And it's almost as though with this I've never been to me, she has no idea what her job is anymore. Something is messing with her. Maybe the mites and the 5G is messing with her and making it impossible for her to do what she is meant to do. Queen of Swords with lost in space. This is the truth of it. If it keeps going the way that it is, we are going to have to find another place to be, another world to live on, and we've got the world here. We need to find another place to live, because we won't be able to live here without the bees. 9 of Jars or 9 of Cups. Yeah, they're going to go to the past. Somebody is going to go time travel to the past in the hopes that they can, well, it's a wish that they can reverse things and have Earth be correctly habited again. That's the hope if they attempt this time travel. And I'm beginning to think that the universe with the 7th sign, I'm beginning to think that it was destined, a specifically timed event, I'm going to say, based on the trajectory that humans in general have been on for a long, long time. So as the 7th sign, I'm going to say it was actually meant to be kind of a marker, another marker for humans. Of what has been, kind of screwed up on the planet, so to speak. A warning, another warning. They give a lot of warnings, All right, so we've got what other influences, natural, human-made, or environmental, are contributing that are not widely discussed. So we've got the parasites, we've got the 5G. What else might be influencing this bee population decline? There we go. The Great Escape. Okay, so The Great Escape is about a Nazi prison camp. Soldiers being kept there. And one of the things that used to happen in the camps was the gas, allegedly. So perhaps one of the other influences here is the air quality. Mother and child reunion. I'm going to say that is along the lines of nobody cares. Or people are so busy that they don't really even notice. And, an insect is just an insect, right? Unless it directly affects you. If you're a beekeeper or something like that, or you absolutely love honey and can't find any anywhere. Or, yeah. So other influences are air quality, which is Could also be the chemtrails, allegedly. So that would be kind of an environmental thing. Definitely not natural. And also not caring. Literally not caring about what is happening on the planet. The sound of silence. It's a prophetic warning. It's not like we haven't been warned over and over again about the many different things that can happen to this earth. I mean, it makes logical sense. If there's garbage everywhere, it's going to affect something, especially if it's not able to degrade on its own. And it could affect a small animal if there's like a plastic bag and the small animal gets stuck in the plastic bag and suffocates. Maybe that's an endangered species and the last one of its kind of thing. Hunger Games. When and if this situation with the honeybees gets impossible to ignore, and I think for many, like I said, beekeepers and for many, it is impossible to ignore. And they really have been trying to get the information out there. But eventually, again, this is a prophetic warning. The cards are offering the prophetic warning. This is something the whole world will be watching because they have to. All of a sudden, this unimportant thing, the honeybees, this unimportant thing is suddenly important. It's a matter of survival. Earthquake. It's an event. It is a death event or an extinction event. So we have the earthquake here. And, if you think about it, the event, it says earthquake. They talk about the California earthquake, the megaquake, okay, that could wipe out that whole side of the U.S. But it would be an extinction event. We've got dinosaurs here with Jurassic Park. And we have Don't Fear the Reaper. So the Reaper, we know who that is. So yeah, it's the world will be watching when it becomes an extinction event. So the air quality, the chemtrails allegedly, and just not caring. Maybe it's time with this sound of silence. Maybe it's time to start really reflecting on our part, our individual part in caring for Mother Earth and the creatures on it, including us, right? All right, so let's see what the tarot has to share. And nobody really discusses the fact that there are many people who really just don't care. If it isn't a huge part of their life, they don't care because people are surviving. That's what they're doing. So we have 3 of Jars or 3 of Cups. Yeah, the air quality and through pesticides and whatever else, chemtrails allegedly, and anything else that affects the air, gas, toxic fumes from, trains derailing, things like that. Those are all things that affect us as well. It can affect our moods. It can affect our frequencies, what makes us happy. It can affect a lot of things. So collectively, this could be very, very difficult. Queen of Pentacles. We are supposed to be nurturing the earth. Really respecting the place we live on, the other creatures we live with. They all have purpose, just like we have purpose. But because we are bigger and we don't see them, many of us don't see them as important, the only ones we seem to care about are ourselves, our own personal families and close friends, things like that. And sometimes, if it's a situation where money is being asked for to help feed another nation, well, some of us can't afford to do that, and some of us will do it for the tax deduction. At least it's still getting out there. But yes, we are supposed to. Queen of Pentacles is saying you're supposed to be caring and nurturing for yourself and other life forms and the earth. That's really what, I'm not going to say it's going to completely change things, but this Three of Jars or Three of Cups also is getting people together, spreading the caring, loving emotion, changes frequency also, and can perhaps change the frequency situation with the bees, at least with the 5D. And yes, this is a prophetic warning about death. Death of the bees. These are bee cards, remember? Strength. The whole world's going to be watching to see how we can change this situation once it gets bad enough for everybody to notice. And they're going to be looking to someone to have the strength to be able to fix it. The High Priestess, or as they have here, the Melissa, which I believe is the Queen Bee. We have the Earthquake, the Queen Bees. The frequency is killing them off. Pesticides might be killing them off. The mites might be killing them off. Something is definitely killing them off, which means it's like the earthquake. For the bees, it's an extinction event. For us, it's an extinction event. We have the Eight of Cups with the Reaper. Yeah, this is something that cannot be walked away from. It can't. It's going to happen unless, and maybe even if, we attempt to raise our frequencies, our vibration to the love vibration, and try to change the frequency of the earth. Even if we try to do that, it may or may not work, but it may work for longer or help us. We have the Ace of Swords. Yeah, the death of the dinosaurs is just kind of the gift of truth. It's trying to tell us, here's what's going to happen, unless, and maybe even still. So as a recap here so far, is that the universe, I think, has just been waiting. With the seventh sign, I think it's just been waiting. That it was destined, or, just because of the trajectory of mankind and what we tend to do on the earth, what we've done to the earth and the creatures of the earth and so forth. And the parasites were released, possibly to kill off another creature. I think they did that with Asian beetles, which look kind of like ladybugs, or And they ended up invading and being just, yeah, it was not a good idea. And I think that happened with the parasites also. And again, 5G is an issue. It's making it difficult for the bees to navigate as they're supposed to, making the queen bee kind of forget what her purpose is, what she's supposed to be doing. It's affecting their mental faculties. All right, so question 5. Is there a life-altering power in honey that someone wants to keep hidden from us? So if in fact this destruction of the bees is purposeful, is it because power has a life-altering, or honey has a life-altering power? And, you know, we know how the privileged and power get along, right? So let's see. Half-Breed by Cher. And do not go after me for this card. It is the name of a song by Cher. Yeah, it shows here healing place. So the way that it looks is that honey is extremely, well, it's a healing elixir, pretty much. A natural healing elixir. Yeah, it'll transform us. This honey can do some amazing things, apparently, to the human body. Going my way. Before I say anything about that, I'm going to pull another card. I almost feel like that has two ways to look at it. Look at things. Now you see me. With going my way, I feel like this could be saying that there are people who would never use honey anyway, don't believe in, you know, any possible healing effects. It's just something sweet, something made by bees. And for the privileged, however, they don't want us to know this. They want us to go their way. Go my way, go my way. And they're trying to tell us that, you know, there's nothing special about honey either, okay? But more and more people are starting to lean towards the more natural ways of eating and doing things and looking into such things as honey and so forth, and have been for a while now. So now you see me. This is about magicians, things disappearing and reappearing. Magicians like to make things disappear. Sometimes they do reappear, sometimes they don't. So making the bees disappear is my point here. Danger Zone, the No-No Song, and Mothman prophecies. So yeah, this is a danger zone. They're trying to tell us that, oh no, you don't want to eat honey because, you know, it's just an adrenaline. It'll just give you an adrenaline rush. It's not really that good for you or anything like that. And, you know, people are becoming more aware with the No-No Song. If you can see in this, it's got the soft drinks and the potato chips and the donuts and the hamburgers and smoking and all that stuff. People are changing. They are wanting to heal these physical bodies that we have, wanting to heal the physical bodies, and they're starting to pay attention to what is good and what isn't. Because, well, somewhere along the line, we're getting a warning here. And if you remember the Mothman prophecies, it was the Point Pleasant Bridge in West Virginia that collapsed. The Mothman showed up. They believed for the purpose of warning people that a disaster was going to happen, but they didn't really recognize it as that while the Mothman was there. At any rate, after the fact, after the bridge collapsed, then people paid attention. So, in essence, it's saying yes, honey definitely has healing power. In both, and if we look at the card here, we've got Native Americans and we've got everybody else. These are things that Native Americans always lived off the land. So, pretty sure that they understood the benefits of honey and how it could transform the health. So we have Queen of Pentacles. Yes, it is definitely a healing nectar that allows us to care for our physical bodies, helps us to heal our physical bodies, and it's the bees that provide that. Seven of Jars or Seven of Cups. This has been around for a long time. People have used honey and have seen the transformation. And, you know, whoever was the first person to use the honey and discover this obviously was going to pass it on. So the seed was planted a long time ago. And the value of the honey has been known for a long time. But there are privileged who are saying, oh, no, there you can choose from this and this and this and this. So much faster, so much better working. And we're going to say that's more along the lines of unnatural healing things. I'll put it that way. Provided by the privileged, right? We've got the King of Swords. Yes, they would like to be the ones that rule the kingdom, that tell everybody else what to do, how to do it, that are in control of everything, healing, everything, money, everything. They want to be the ones communicating and dictating the rules. That's what they'd like. King of Pentacles. Yes, so they have taken it upon themselves to assist in the taking away the stability of the bees. And again, the bees may not have been right away. They may not have been the target. However, they may be a casualty of something else. But once it was determined that whatever was happening was affecting them, they realized, hey, this is a good thing for us, the privileged. Now we don't have to address this other stuff because, you know, if they die off. Then we have the Prince of Swords or the Knight of Swords. Yeah, it's still being pushed pretty hard. That's the truth of it. It's being pushed pretty hard, and it is a dangerous situation. It's a danger zone. This is a warning here. Eight of Pentacles. giving up all the things that you enjoy, all the things that we have been gotten addicted to because of what's within them, food wise and so forth. It takes practice to eliminate, and some people can't do it overnight. But if the fact is you're attempting to give up the things that are not good for your body and starting to take, say, a teaspoon of honey each day to aid your healing, well, again, that's what it's there for. 5 of Swords. The truth isn't pretty. That's what the Mothman is trying to say. The truth isn't pretty. If something doesn't change, the truth is not going to be pretty. But once they found out that how valuable honey was, and that people were beginning to use it for healing, they wanted to make sure that the bees disappeared, because who wants that kind of a magical healing, a naturally occurring healing, to be available? So let's just make the problem disappear. So the answer to the life-altering power in honey is an absolute yes. I can't tell you exactly what it does, and it may do something different for every person. So let's get picked up here and move on to question 6. All right. So question 6, who or what benefits from hiding or distorting the real cause of the vanishing bees? Who or what benefits from hiding the fact that it's happening, or making up stories to explain it? Now you see me. That card was explained in the last question, right? Anything they don't like, the privileged I'm talking, they want it to disappear. Allegedly. So who or what benefits? There it is. Answered that pretty quickly, didn't it? Solitude. If they can separate people, they win the game. Solitude is a big deal. Making sure people can't talk to each other, making sure yeah. That is a huge part of their game plan, the privileged game plan, allegedly. Bringing up baby. That's my card for humanity. If they can, keep leaving that one card behind, don't I? If they can separate people, they can change the way, they can change humanity. They really can. And since we're talking about the vanishing of the bees, let's just say, for instance, their story that they tell is that certain people are the ones killing off the bees. And people believe this. Well, they've separated then already groups of people, right? It'll affect humanity for sure. How humanity grows. Yeah, I heard it through the grapevine. There's so many stories, and they're stories, they betray us. They really do. They're hidden truths, things that they don't want to share with us. The privileged. It's always stories that will separate us and affect humanity. Always. Commitment, they're very committed to that too, because they love the game. We've got commitment and for love of the game. It's entertainment for them. And they do it to everybody. Every country. People in every country. It isn't just the US. It's everywhere. It is everywhere. And the one thing that, again, will change things, this is a love story, right? So there's the word again. Love. Change the frequencies here. Take the power of the privileged. So let's see what tarot has to add. Ace of Pentacles. Yes. The things that the privileged try. There's a lot of things that benefit them in this world. There's a lot of things that benefit them and a lot of things that they do that do not benefit us. It's the potential for what they can come up with just never ends. It never ends. The honeybee situation is just one of those things. And they move forward very quickly with their plans. Because each thing, since everyone has an opinion, each thing will separate this group and this group and this group and this group. This situation will separate this group and this group. They have so many things that they do and are doing. The Magician. And again, we're back to, you're not going to see us doing it. We're magicians. It's now you see me, now you don't. We didn't do that. Oh no. Someone in humanity did it, not us, the privileged. No. Six of Pentacles. They know a lot of things. The bees are one of them. The healing effects of honey. And they should be sharing these things, not making up stories that are not true. In other words, one of the stories maybe that they say is, oh, well, the sugar in honey, even though it's natural sugar created by bees, they pretty much live on it. They're fine, or were. They should be sharing that kind of story, but instead they're telling everyone that the sugar in honey is bad, and oh my goodness, if you eat this much of it, this is going to happen. It's a bad thing. No different than eggs are good, eggs are bad, eggs are good, eggs are bad, etc., etc. You get my drift on that. They're always telling stories when in fact they should be sharing what they know about the human body and sharing it truthfully. Princess of Jars, which is the Page of Cups. They're very committed to making sure that the information that they give is going to affect us emotionally. And they keep bringing out new things and new things and new messages that are going to affect different people in different ways. They're very committed to that because they're very committed to themselves, the privileged. The Tower. For love of the game. They love the game. They're very committed. They love the game. And because of this, they don't really care if the honeybees fail. We've got the Tower here. Seven of Wands. Yeah, the love frequency here is a way to fight back for the bees, for the trees, for us, for all living creatures. It's a way to help fight back. Will it fix things? We don't know. But it has to be better than it is. Intention also. What is the intention? The intention is to heal the earth. The intention is to clean the air from the toxic. You can do that by not using pesticides yourself. You can, but again, the intention is when you get up in the morning, let's say you say, I'm going to take a breath of the most fresh air I've ever had. Just changing the image, manifesting what you want. And if everyone did that, I think a lot of the world problems would go away. That's my take anyway, my opinion. All right, so question 7. How is the bee's life force or energetic field being affected on a subtle, non-physical level? How is the bee's life force or energetic field being affected on a subtle, non-physical level? Let's see. Field of Dreams. I'm thinking here because let me pull another card. How is the bee's life force or energetic field being affected on a subtle, non-physical level? Half-breed with share. In Field of Dreams, the baseball field that Kevin Costner built in that movie, it ended up that the spirits of the famous baseball players actually came to play on that field, but they were there in spirit form. Okay, in spirit form. So I feel like Field of Dreams is talking about the life, literally the life force or the life essence or the energetic field of the bee itself. It's saying, okay, I understand the question here. And it's supposed to be, according to this card, it's supposed to be being healed. Let's see. Stargate. I see. Okay, so their physical essence or their energetic field needs to be healed. Otherwise, as we talked about before, we're going to have to find another world. Society tends to reject the things they don't want to face. So if the honeybees vanishing is a problem or is something they don't want to face, then the idea is just rejected and forgotten about. But in this case, these bees, their energetic field needs to be healed. Again, we're going to have to find a new place to live. And it wouldn't be the first time. At least we might not know that, but I think the privileged know that. It wouldn't be the first time. I dreamed of Africa, rain of fire, and phenomenon. I think this is saying it's time to start manifesting what it is that we want to see. If we want to see the bees healthy again, their energetic field being affected, if we want to see that happen, we have to dream of Africa. In other words, put the dream of what we want to see right out there to the universe and make it happen. That will stop the destruction. It'll be an amazing, almost like a magic trick in a way. It'll be something that just can't be explained, but it'll be us doing it. We will be manifesting that. So let's take a look at what tarot has to add. So it's not really, I mean, obviously it does tell us that this energetic field of the bees does definitely need to be healed. So somehow it's being affected. It's not really telling us how, but I mean, we've kind of covered a lot of stuff. We've dealt with the fact that it's air quality, it's navigation, it's the mites, it's many different things that are affecting these bees. Maybe one thing more than another, but okay, so we have the Prince of Swords, which is the Knight of Swords. Just saying that, yes, it is definitely the truth. And whatever this is that is affecting their energy field, it is very active. It's still going, still working, and it affects their communication also with one another. The Wheel. This is just saying it's time, a chance needs to be taken to heal the bees. Since we're talking about the bees, we could, I mean, same thing goes for Mother Earth. We need to do something. Take a chance to heal the bees. Got King of Jars. Yeah, or again, we're going to have to find another place to live. Because with the King of Jars or King of Cups, since we have a connection with these bees, something is going to change in us. Something emotional will change in us. And where perhaps we've been feeling as though we're stable, that life is structured and so forth, we're going to find out that it isn't. And we're going to need a different place to live. Four of Pentacles. We can't hold on to the way life is right now. We can't. We cannot hold on to that. And we know that instinctively. Every now and then we get a deja vu moment where it's almost as though we've lived that moment previously. Well, probably have. We probably have. Nine of Pentacles. If we want a life that is full of abundance, full of everything that we could ever want or need. We need to start manifesting that for the world, not just individually. 3 of Pentacles. It's going to take more than one person to do this, to stop the destruction. It's going to take more than one person. We need to work together. We need things to grow. We need the manifestation to take place. We need the groups to grow. 8 of Pentacles. Yes, and if we all work at it and keep working at it and keep working at it, it's going to seem like magic. It's going to happen. Just like on Phenomenon, he could point at something and it would do what he wanted it to, what he thought of. That's what we need to do. So the bee's energetic field is being affected, absolutely. But we can help fix it. Not only with the love frequency, but with our intentions, with our thoughts, with our minds, our visions, our what we wish to manifest. We can reverse what is happening. There is really something to the power of the mind. It's not just fiction. All right, so pick up again and we will be on question 8 already. This reading's gone pretty fast. At least it feels like it. Time-wise, if I were to look, I don't know, but it sure feels like it's been quick. Oh, and if you are enjoying this reading, please feel free to like and subscribe, also to share with anyone, and don't forget to comment. I read all the comments and I really enjoy it. So, question 8. What role have humans, through policies, technology, farming practices, etc., played in accelerating or preventing the crisis of these vanishing bees? So what this is saying, it's not just the privileged that's at fault here. It's also us. So what role have we played in either accelerating or preventing the bees from disappearing? Eye of the Tiger. For some, it's been standing up for the rights of the bees. In other words, getting the word out there and really trying to tell people that, hey, you need to pay attention to this. This is very important. Fight for the bees. Don't be fooled by the things that you're told. Same with the mites. But we can also say, here it says they're here to save the world. Yes, we can play that role. We can help to save the world from, well, I'm going to say the privileged, from the privileged. The ones who basically enjoy watching us eat toxic food and breathe toxic air and drink toxic water, and allegedly for all of that. And then we have Planet of the Apes. And, you know, there are some humans that this is where they're at. There's other humans who want to rule it all and have done absolutely nothing to stop things and have done everything in their power to accelerate things. That was Planet of the Apes, by the way. This was Ghostbusters and Eye of the Tiger. Cat people. The privileged are very stealthy. A lot of what is done in secret. So it's very hard to combat what we don't know. Victim. Titanic. Shadow of a doubt. So when we don't know something, we can fall back and say, well, because I didn't know, it's not my fault. This happened because they did it, not because I did anything wrong. Okay? Well, that only goes so far. You might just hear just the smallest inkling about bees vanishing. And if you give it not even a second thought or even a moment's thought, then you're playing a role in accelerating their demise, right? Because you're not even stopping to take the time to find out more or to understand what the repercussions are to that. Because you need to get back onto your social media, TikTok, watching somebody spray something in their eyes. Just throwing something out there. Anyway, these cat people, they are very stealthy and they're very clever about how they put things out there. Their design, in my opinion, their design is to destroy the earth and humanity. It really is. To make us all feel like victims. They've told us stories. They have things happen that focus our attention, and we have Titanic here. They have things happen to focus our attention there because they don't want us to doubt in any way, shape, or form what they say, what they do. They do not want that to happen. But stay diligent. If you stay diligent and you don't believe everything that you say or that you see and hear from these cat people, and these are not people who have cats, this is referring to the privileged here, we can actually help save the world. Yes, we can. So that would be how we could prevent the crisis from happening, is by not believing, fighting for the rights of the earth, the bees, the creatures of the earth, and so forth, and saving the world. A lot of us were brought here for that reason. We're born into this time for that reason. So let's let tarot give its 2 cents. Or more. So we have the King of Wands with Eye of the Tiger. This is taking control of our own energy. Taking control of our own life. Paying attention. Don't be fooled. And fight for what you believe in. Stand strong. This is a card, the King of Wands is a card to say, this is the energy you want to have. This is a very powerful energy. If you want to make a difference, if you want to prevent the crisis of the bees and other crises, you have to stand strong in your energy. 9 of Wands. That means standing strong in your energy and really listening and paying attention to what's going on. We can save the world rather than sit by and go, I'm in the battle, but I'm so tired. No time to be tired. No time to have your back against the wall. You need to change your that dynamic energy into one of power. Two of Jars or Two of Cups. And that's kind of saying you need to really decide what side you're on. I'm going to put it like that. What side you're on emotionally. Do you want to help the planet? Do you want to help the bees? Or are you perfectly content to listen to the untruths of the privileged? And to breathe the bad air and to eat the bad food and, allegedly. Ten of Jars. Yes, the privileged would like you to believe that you are living your best life. Living your best life. But we know that the things that we are drinking, eating, experiencing can affect our mental health for sure. Absolutely. And make us shut down emotionally, make us shut down. Five of Pentacles with victim. Yeah, we don't have to believe everything we hear. We don't. I have the Tiger says, don't do that. Queen of Jars, Queen of Cups. Yeah, the game that's played is to show us we care. We care so much for you. So when a disaster takes place, first of all, if you're looking over here, what are they doing over here? You need to think about that, just even for a moment, because if they're trying to show you they care about something, and I'm talking the privileged, the disasters are usually pre-planned. Then we have the Moon. They don't want us to ever doubt them. That's why everything stays by the light of the moon. That way, if a shadow comes forth, it can scare you back into their territory, their beliefs. By the light of the moon, nothing looks the same. Bring the sun up, the truth and the clarity of things comes out. So yeah, they don't want us to doubt ever, because the sun would then come out. It wouldn't all be by moonlight. They couldn't be as sneaky as they are in doing the things that are being done. So yes, we all play a part. But the part that we play, we have to make a decision what we care about, what we really care about. And if we care about breathing and we care about staying healthy, we really have to open our eyes and pay attention and not just fall for every sneaky plan that's put in front of us. So if we're being told that the bees are vanishing, are we going to just go, oh, that's interesting, and never think about it again? Or are we going to figure out a way to change that? Which this reading has given you a few ideas. Okay, so number 9 question. What will happen to humanity and the planet if the bees go extinct? Now, we already know that we would probably have to find another place to live. But why? What will happen to humanity and the planet if the bees go extinct? Well, it'll affect everybody on the planet. It doesn't matter what race they are, what religion they are, makes no difference. Yeah, It's going to affect everyone on the planet if the bees go extinct. Spring. We'll have to start anew. That's being very kind in the wording. So let's see what the other cards bring. It's going to affect the growth of things. Kevin Costner in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Well, okay, it's pretty much going to rob us of our livelihood. And our livelihood basically is food. If the flowers cannot be pollinized, they do not grow. Thus, the plants, the food that that has flowers that requires pollination, you can say goodbye to that food. And I mean, there's a lot that is like that, a lot of different kinds of foods. And again, there will not be new growth. Our livelihoods will be stolen from us. The streak. Yeah, it is time. If the honeybees disappear, what happens is going to be very, very fast. It's not going to be something that takes years and years and years. It's going to be fast. Kevin Costner with the bow, or bow and arrow. The arrow, when shot, hits the bullseye very, very quickly. It shoots out of that bow at lightning speed. It's going to happen to the whole world lightning fast. We have What About Bob, Field of Dreams, and You Can Do Magic. Some people, when they see it begin, aren't going to be able to handle it. They're going to go crazy, mostly from fear. They'll go crazy from fear. Other people will go just into dreamland and just pretend like everything is perfectly fine just the way it is. This is saying you can do magic. And this could be saying one of two things. We can change this, but not once the bees are all gone. We need to do something about it before they've all vanished. We have to do something about it before they've all vanished. So if humanity and the planet, or what happens to humanity and the planet if the bees go extinct, well, we will too. We will go extinct as well. Our lives are going to be stolen right out from under us, and very quickly. Six of Pentacles. We need to start harmonizing the earth. Six is harmony. Pentacles is earth. We need to start harmonizing earth. Everybody, every race, every country. We need to start harmonizing, changing the frequency of earth. The Lovers, it's a choice. This is definitely a choice. Can we come together in a loving kind of way and do this? Is it possible? Seven of Swords. Maybe a lot of the things that you've heard about, this country or this country or this person or your neighbor or whoever that you have some kind of a problem with. Maybe what you've heard isn't exactly what you think it is. The Seven of Swords usually has a picture of a thief on it, taking swords. You just assume they're a thief. They're stealing the swords. They've got the swords in hand. But why? Why are they stealing the swords? Why are they taking the swords? Why are they holding the swords? Maybe they're taking them to be polished and sharpened so that the battle goes more smoothly for those who are using the swords. Maybe they're taking off with the swords so no battle can take place. Why is Kevin Costner stealing from the rich and giving to the poor? Is it because the poor is starving, or is it because he wants them to be as rich as the rich? So we don't always know what the full picture is. So if you want to get together in a neighborhood, for instance, to start changing the earth, changing the frequency to love, and you have a neighborhood and there's one couple or one person in the neighborhood that you don't like, are you going to exclude that person from the plans that the rest of the neighborhood could get in on to improve the frequency of the earth and ruin the love frequency by not inviting this person? Or are you going to give them the benefit of the doubt? The hanged one, or the hanged man with the streak. So if we want to change something, we have to look at things totally differently. If we want to be able to do something about this before the bees go extinct. Sometimes viewing things upside down gives a perspective. We might also have to surrender to the idea that the privileged have been lying to us about many, many things, including being able to change things and manifest what we want. Six of Swords. Yes, for those people who would go crazy, who wouldn't be able to handle it, we need to bring them peace of mind. That's what the Six of Swords is, harmony of the mind. If everybody works together in this, it brings harmony of the mind. Nobody has to go crazy. Temperance, which is balance. We need balance in the world. We need the balance in the world. And people don't need to hide their heads in the sand. Open minds would be helpful. Nine of Wands. The You Can Do Magic card is about believing, creating, inspiring, and transforming. Not sitting by the sidelines going, oh, woe is me. We can fix this. We can do this before the bees go extinct together. Because if we don't, there won't be a world. We'll have to find another place to live. And the privileged they'll just leave us behind, right? It's kind of the track record. So we have one more question here to take a look at. See what that's all about. Just a moment. Almost there. All right, so question 10. What needs to happen for bee populations to begin to heal and stabilize? I know we've covered that to some degree in here. Let's see if it offers any more. What needs to happen for bee populations to begin to heal and stabilize? Well, it's telling us that we need to seize the moment, and we need to do it quickly. Talks about breaking barriers here as well. Maybe you've believed that there's not a problem at all. Maybe you should believe that there is a problem. Need to seize the moment. What needs to happen for bee populations to begin to heal and stabilize? People need to believe, and believe quickly, that there is a problem. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. It's time to start looking at the world through the eyes of a child. You ever seen the wonder of a child the first time they see a lightning bug, or some of you may call them fireflies? It's the most glorious thing. There are so many things that children look at and see the beauty in it, the amazingness of it. The first time they see the moon, the first time they see a puppy. You could see puppies. I mean, we're all that way to some degree. If you really like puppies, you see a puppy and the first thing is like, oh, why do you think, you know, the videos on that have puppies and kittens and baby animals of any kind are so popular? So yes, we need to start looking at things from the eyes of a child. And we've got Robin Hood again. And stop allowing the privileged to dictate what we should believe, how we should believe it, when we should believe it, and so forth. We need to, well, it says personal liberation here too. Okay. We need to save the world. Imagine that. They're here to save the world. So believing, doing it quickly, freeing ourselves from this way of thinking. I know Kevin Costner in the movie, he is the savior, so to speak, okay? In this case, we need to separate ourselves very quickly from the privileged. Start looking at the world with the eyes of a child. We're not children, we have power, but look at the world through the eyes of a child and see all the amazing things and how beautiful it is. That makes us want to save the world. It makes us want to change things, to really put the effort in to change things. Out of the past, yes. Don't let the mistakes of the past happen anymore. What we've been told has happened. Night at the museum. Start believing in the impossible and stop believing everything that you've been told about history. There's the field of dreams again. This will fix the bees. Remember, we talked about their energy field? Okay? This is bringing forth the change in the frequency. It is love also, okay? Because when you're looking at the world through the eyes of a child, there's nothing but love. They might not have a word for it, but there's nothing but love. Awe and love. Of course that's going to change things. As long as we don't allow those privileged people to tell us non-truths and believe, okay? Much of history is not factual, allegedly. We need to stop living in the past with those people. We need to start putting the effort forth to save the world. And that includes the bees. Amazing how these cards come up in certain places that mean specific things. I don't do it. The cards themselves, the energy around this reading, that's what does it. So let's add to this with tarot for one last time. We have the Seven of Pentacles. Yes, it is time to work together for the growth of the earth, to share ideas, to share beliefs, to share and do it fast. There's no time for slow here. Two of Swords. Take the blindfold off. Choose a path. You're either going to want to change things or not change things. Choose a path. It's important. And before you choose that path, like I said, take the blindfold off and look at the world through the eyes of a child. And if you need a little bit of a head start there, find an animal video that shows puppies, things that puppies are doing or kittens are doing, whatever. Just, yeah, that brings out the child in pretty much everyone. The Star. That's the Hope card. It's also my card for spirit guides and angels and spirit team. Those beyond the veil are past loved ones who are here to assist. If we ask them, can you come and help? Let's work on it. We don't have to do it alone. King of Jars or King of Cups. Yes, we can save the world. Our emotions of love can save the world. We can make this world stable. We can help the bees. Again, these are bee cards, remember? King of Cups comes up. Strongest emotion card in the minor arcana. We can do it. Three of Jars. If we get out of the past, okay, start living in the moment. Living in the moment, celebrating the moment, feeling right now as you're opening your eyes to the amazing things in the world. Celebrate it. Raise the vibration. Start doing it. Seven of Cups. There's a lot of things that can distract you. Absolutely. Things in this world that can distract. But think about, with Night of the Museum, all the things that he had to see and admit to seeing before he could do his job the way he was meant to do his job as the night guard of this museum. He had to open his eyes and he had to suspend his disbelief for things. There's a lot of things that, can stir up the emotions. We have Four of Pentacles. Yeah, we don't want to hold on to I'm going to say I don't want to be responsible with this Four of Pentacles. I don't want to be responsible for the energetic well-being of these bees. I don't want to be responsible for that with the Four of Pentacles. So rather than holding on to the idea that this is actually happening or that I can do nothing about it, I want to do this. I want to start sharing my ideas. Here it is. The reading is sharing with you. I want my emotions, my love emotions, to be out there for all to see. And for it to be contagious so that we can all do it. And there's many out there who have such amazing love power. We all have it. We just have to find it in ourselves. And to do that, we look at the world through the eyes of a child, our own inner child. So what needs to happen for bee populations to begin to heal and stabilize? We need to work at it. We need to look at the world with awe and see how amazing it is and want to do the work and celebrate life, love, and save the bees. Raise the frequency so that it's so powerful that the chemicals and the mites and the towers can't touch them. It can be done. I believe. I do. All right, so that is it for this reading about the vanishing bees. I do hope that you've enjoyed the reading and that you've made it to the end. And I thank you so, so much for watching. And remember, if you have something you would like me to look into, just leave what you want to know in the comments. Give a little bit of detail if you could, please. And I'll see what I can do with it. So until the next viewer request, have a great one. Take care.